Rain lashed the small boat. Waves crashed against the hull. Inside, Lena shivered, clutching a worn, leather-bound journal. Beside her, Mark, ever the optimist, grinned.
See? Adventure.
Lena forced a smile. Whispering Isle wasn't exactly the honeymoon destination she'd envisioned, but her late grandmother's journal, filled with cryptic entries about their ancestors' disappearance on the island, had ignited a spark of curiosity in her. As the boat finally lurched onto the gravel shore, the storm abruptly ceased. An eerie silence descended. Lena stepped out, her foot sinking into the wet sand. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of salt and decay.
Well, here we are.
He pulled their bags from the boat.
Home sweet spooky home.
The old house loomed before them, its silhouette stark against the twilight sky. The windows were dark, like empty eyes. As they approached, the front door creaked open as if inviting them in.
Charming.
Her voice was tight with apprehension. The interior was dark and dusty, the air thick with the smell of mildew and decay. Lena ran a finger across a cobweb-laden table, her skin crawling. The silence was broken only by the sound of their own breathing and the incessant drip of water from a leak in the roof. Mark, seemingly unaffected by the oppressive atmosphere, was already exploring.
Look at this place, Lena. It's like stepping back in time.
He picked up a tarnished silver picture frame, its contents long gone. A cold draft swirled around them, and Lena felt a shiver down her spine. Something wasn't right. The first night was the hardest. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of wind in the eaves sent Lena's heart racing. Sleep was a distant dream. Mark, exhausted from the journey, slept soundly beside her. Lena got out of bed and crept to the window. The moon was hidden behind thick clouds, casting the island in an inky blackness. She could have sworn she saw a figure standing at the edge of the tree line, its eyes glowing in the darkness. She blinked, and it was gone. She spent the rest of the night huddled in a chair, clutching her grandmother's journal. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the cracks in the boarded-up windows, she finally allowed herself to close her eyes. Daylight brought little comfort. The house felt heavy, oppressive. Lena found herself drawn back to her grandmother's journal, hoping for answers, for clues to the island's secrets. The spidery handwriting spoke of a growing unease, a sense of being watched. There were cryptic entries about strange noises at night, shadows moving in the periphery, and a name whispered on the wind: Silas. Lena's blood ran cold. Silas was the name of the ancestor who had disappeared on the island all those years ago. She showed the entry to Mark, who just shrugged.
Probably just the wind, babe. Don't let it get to you.
But Lena couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. The island was watching, waiting, and the name Silas echoed in her mind like a warning. The days that followed were a blur of unsettling discoveries and growing dread. They found a hidden room in the attic, its walls covered in strange symbols. Lena recognized them from the journal, her ancestors' desperate attempts to understand the island's power. One evening, as the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the overgrown lawn, Lena heard it. A whisper, faint but distinct, carried on the wind. Lena. It seemed to come from the old well at the edge of the property. Mark was out chopping firewood. "Mark!" Lena called out, her voice shaky. "Did you hear that?" Mark paused, axe in hand. "Hear what?" "That voice. Whispering my name." Mark frowned. "There's no one out there, Lena. It's just the wind playing tricks on you." But Lena knew what she had heard. The island was calling to her, drawing her deeper into its web of secrets and shadows. Driven by a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity, Lena found herself drawn back to the attic. The air was thick with dust and the scent of decay, the only light filtering in through cracks in the boarded-up windows. She ran her fingers over the strange symbols etched into the walls, a sense of foreboding washing over her. A loose floorboard creaked under her foot, revealing a small wooden box hidden beneath. Heart pounding, she pried it open. Inside, Nestled on a bed of faded velvet lay a tarnished silver locket. It was cold to the touch, as if imbued with the chill of the grave. As Lena lifted the locket, a gust of icy wind slammed the attic door shut, plunging her into darkness. Panic surged through her. She fumbled for the doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. She was trapped. Then, she heard it. A low growl, guttural and menacing, emanating from the darkest corner of the attic. Her blood ran cold. She was not alone. Slowly, a figure began to emerge from the shadows. It was tall and skeletal, its flesh decayed and rotting, its eyes glowing with an eerie green light. The stench of death filled the air, choking her. Lena stumbled back, her hand instinctively flying to her mouth to stifle a scream. The figure took a step closer, its skeletal hand reaching out towards her, its touch promising unimaginable cold and pain. She squeezed her eyes shut, bracing for the inevitable, but the touch never came. Instead, she heard a blood-curdling scream, Mark's scream. Section 8. A desperate gamble. Lena's eyes flew open. The figure was gone. The attic door creaked open, revealing Mark standing in the doorway, his face a mask of horror.
Lena, run!
He grabbed her hand, pulling her out of the attic and down the stairs. They raced through the house, the floorboards groaning under their weight, the shadows seeming to reach out for them. They burst out of the front door and into the night. The full moon hung low in the sky, casting an eerie glow on the island. And standing on the porch, silhouetted against the moonlight, was the figure from the attic. It was closer now, its skeletal fingers twitching, its glowing eyes fixed on them with a hunger that chilled Lena to the bone. Section 9, Trapped.
The boat!
Lena gasped, pointing towards the shore. It was their only chance. They sprinted towards the beach, the figure's ragged breathing close behind them. The sand shifted under their feet, making it difficult to run. Lena stumbled, her ankle twisting beneath her. Pain shot up her leg.
Go on without me,
she cried, struggling to get to her feet.
No,
Mark shouted, hauling her up. He slung her arm over his shoulder and half-dragged her towards the shore. But it was too late. The figure was upon them, its icy grip closing around Mark's throat. He cried out, his body convulsing as the life was slowly choked out of him. Section 10. A Glimmer in the Darkness. Despair threatened to consume Lena, but amidst the terror, she noticed something in the moonlight glinting off the silver locket she still clutched in her hand. It was reflecting the moonlight, casting a beam of light directly into the figure's face. The figure roared in pain, its grip on Mark loosening momentarily. It shielded its eyes from the light, its skeletal form flickering as if struggling to maintain its hold. This was their chance. Lena gathered all her strength and slammed the locket against the figure's skeletal hand. A blinding flash of light erupted, followed by an ear-splitting shriek that seemed to shake the very foundations of the island. Section 11. The island claims another. The figure staggered back, its form flickering and fading. Lena didn't hesitate. She grabbed Mark's hand and dragged him towards the boat. They scrambled aboard, Lena fumbling with the oars as adrenaline surged through her veins. She rowed with a desperate strength she didn't know she possessed, her eyes never leaving the shore. The figure was gone, but the island was not silent. Whispers seemed to rise from the very earth itself, filled with rage and a chilling promise of revenge. As they finally escaped the island's clutches, the first rays of dawn breaking over the horizon, Lena dared to look back. Whispering Isle stood dark and silent against the rising sun, seemingly peaceful. But Lena knew the truth. The island was not done with them. It was waiting, watching, biding its time, and it would claim another victim, she had no doubt.